Palace of Auburn Hills. Better than 22,000 turning out game 2 of the best of 7. A matchup of the number 1 seed and the number 8 seed. It's the Detroit Pistons facing the Orlando Magic, with the Pistons taking game 1 on Saturday night. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert. This is Steve Kerr. We'll be joined in a moment by our sideline reporter, Stephanie Reddy. Both clubs are ready to go, so let's check out the McDonald's starting lineups. First, for Orlando, their centerpiece and starting center, 21-year-old Dwight Howard, who had 19 rebounds in game 1, but a rough night at the foul line, going 3 for 11. Howard up front with Hedo Turkoglu and Tony Battie at the guard, Jameer Nelson, and the one-time Piston All-Star, Grant Hill. For Detroit, Mr. Big Shot, Chauncey Billups at the point. He had 22 and 11 assists in the series opener. Rip Hamilton also chipped in with 22. And on the front line, Chris Webber, who has been an excellent pickup for the Pistons. Webber up front with Tayshaun Prince and Rasheed Wallace. Rasheed getting off to the fast start in game 1. A look at the officiating crew. Steve, they're in side place order. Greg Willard, Ed F. Rush, and Tim Donahue. Ed F. Rush not on the invite list of Shaquille O'Neal, coming off the game the other day. And there's Rasheed, who was all pumped up for game number 1 Saturday night right here in Detroit. Pistons beat the Magic 100-92. The Magic actually came back from a 16-point deficit late in the game, pulling within 3 in the final minute, but Detroit was able to hold on.
They controlled the game the whole way, Marvin. They did it the way Detroit likes to play. 29 assists, just 11 turnovers, great execution. They were very efficient with the basketball. And Orlando, as you talked about, Marv, 21 turnovers. They missed all those free throws. The problem for the Magic, that's what they've done all year. They're at the bottom of the league in both free throws and turnovers, so they're going to have to play well above their heads to win tonight.
Orlando did shoot a franchise playoff record 58% from the field, but the missed free throws killed them. They go 18 of 36. Howard had all kinds of problems. Once again, he's just 58% on the season at the line. He mentioned the turnovers, 21 in all. And as Brian Hill says, most of those turnovers were unforced.
Very much so. In fact, Flip Saunders told us before the game the Pistons came out very conservatively at the defensive end. And he said, you know, given that Orlando is prone to turnovers, we're going to be a little more aggressive tonight. We're going to trap, maybe throw a little zone in, a little full court pressure, try to force even more Magic miscues.
Orlando controlling the opening tip. Turkoglu played by Prince. This is Battie up top. Nelson. They collapse on Howard, and his shot is rejected. Here comes Billups against the backpedaling Turkoglu. Wallace with the three-pointer.
How about Rasheed Wallace? The first 2 possessions of the game, he shows you what he's about. He blocks a shot at one end, and then stretches the floor, knocks down a 3 at the other.
The other night, 3 of 5 from beyond the arc for Rasheed Wallace, who had that big first quarter to get the Pistons rolling. There's Turkoglu, nice move, got the step.
Well, Orlando felt like they could get into the paint. They got 44 paint points in game 1. They feel like they can get in there, get some easy looks, particularly when they're playing through Dwight Howard. And Turkoglu, a guy capable of putting the ball on the floor.
Hamilton and Nelson able to handle it. Orlando during the regular season finished 2 games under the 500 mark at 40 and 42. Jameer Nelson rimming out. Battie goes to the fadeaway.
Well, that's another area of concern for Flip Saunders, not just the penetration, but the offensive rebounding of Orlando. Dwight Howard, the main guy, but Battie, a player, I think he can take advantage of Orlando's focus on Howard here. Battie needs to have a big night.
Tony Battie back from that chip bone in his right hand. He sat out 16 games. That's another three-pointer.
Now, Flip Saunders normally likes Rasheed Wallace to start the game out on the block. He did in game 1, 2 straight post-ups. But here tonight, a little different. Steps outside for 2 early threes.
Howard, that time on single coverage, rebounded by Wallace. In game Game 1, the Pistons 29 assists on 36 field goals. That is a terrific ratio. You see Weber feeling for the defender. And Weber goes with the hook, one-handed by Howard.
When you talked about the assist, the number really went way up once Chris Weber arrived from midseason from Philadelphia as Turkoglu range the fade away from the baseline. But Detroit now has 5 skill players, Marv, in their starting lineup. They can run their offense through any one of those 5. And Weber, a guy who can play both the high post and the low post.
And it's so unusual to see this kind of unit where all 5 guys can handle the ball, they can catch the ball, they can shoot.
And that's one of the reasons they lead the league in fewest turnovers, Marv, because they're all very proficient at taking care of the basketball.
Prince coming up with air. Here's Nelson on the run. Feeding Hill, and he draws the foul. So Grant Hill will head to the line.
Well, Hill, obviously a familiar face here in Detroit, was such an amazing player with the Pistons during his run here. And, you know, that play we just saw, that was a dunk when he was a Piston. Had so much more life in those legs. You look at the numbers, really remarkable player. An all-around guy, a more skilled version of Scottie Pippen, I always thought. A better ball handler, a little better scorer, but a guy who was just absolutely feared around the league.
Foul off Rasheed Wallace. Grant Hill spent 6 years with Detroit, first-round pick, the 3rd overall selection back in 1994, and was dealt to Orlando in that deal for Ben Wallace and Kentucky Champions. That was a sign and trade transaction. Strong move by Hamilton. And he is fouled, so Rip Hamilton will shoot a pair. The foul called on Tony Batiste.
Yeah, the Hills run in Orlando, if you can call it a run, it was just snake-bitten from the beginning. He suffered that foot injury in his final game as a Piston in the playoffs. Actually, he had suffered it earlier, but he tried to play through it, and he rused that moment to this day. Still talks about the fact that he's trying to prove to these Detroit fans that he wasn't soft. That was his. That was the black mark on his career. People said he was soft, wasn't tough, so he was trying to prove that he was. Tried to play through the injury, and it really hurt his entire career.
He says he cannot look at that videotape.
I had a hard time looking at it myself. It's just a shame what's transpired with his career.
Orlando with the ball, they lead by 1. Turkoglu coming off a good shooting game the other night, has the ball slapped away, and last touch by the Magic.
Now there's turnover. We're going to see if the official's going to discuss this. It's like Greg Willard and Eddie Rush are getting together, and they're going to give the ball back to Orlando.
Greg Willard, the outside official, had the better view. Rush said last touched by Orlando, but the ball back to the Magic with 9 on the shot clock. Orlando ended its season with 4 straight wins, 6 of the last 7. Remember, they got off to that good start. They were 13-4 and then dropped off. They had a host of injuries. Here's the T with the turnaround. Good rebound inside by Howard, and his shot was directed the other way. They get the new clock now. Turkoglu. Beautiful move as Rasheed Wallace backed up.
And that's his move. He likes to go left to dribble into his shot. And Wallace is a guy who has to respect Turkoglu's driving ability. He doesn't want to get out and chase him on the perimeter. Turkoglu with a nice move.
So Turkoglu was opened up by hitting his first 3 shots. Hamilton changed his mind. Here's Prince for 3.
There's that strange-looking shot that we've come to know, but very effective for Prince, particularly from the corner. Not a great three-point shooter, but when he's open in the corner, he can knock that down with some consistency.
Strong move by Howard on the drive from right to left.
And that's the kind of move that makes you go, wow, this guy could be really special. He's still very raw down on the block, but you see he's trying to use his left hand and use a variety of moves down there. And as he gets better with those moves, he's going to be unguardable.
Nice pass. Weber stuffs the assist to Wallace.
Typical Detroit offense. Back cutting, screening on the perimeter, and beautiful post passing.
Nelson with nowhere to go. He's met by Wallace. Here's Hill using the screen. And the Pistons on the move. Hamilton is fouled by Nelson, preventing the shot. That's a hard foul. Hamilton remaining on the floor.
Well, remember, he wears that face mask because of a couple of broken noses earlier in his career, and he continues to wear the mask because he has less cartilage in his nose. You wonder if he got knocked right on that mask. Looked like it.
And they're calling it a flagrant foul. Flip Saunders appealing to the officiating crew. It is a flagrant. Hamilton is still on the floor.
Well, we'll have to take another look at it. Now, keep in mind, flagrant fouls are called much more tightly now than they used to. And if you go anywhere near a player's head, generally you're going to get called. And we'll see here the wraparound, just trying to grab him. Looks like he bumps him. You know, that's tough as a player. I mean, it's the playoffs. You don't want to give up an easy two. He's not trying to hurt anybody. And, you know, it's just kind of the nature of the way the call is made these days. I'd prefer to see that not be called a flagrant foul. Though. That's to me, that's a good hard foul. You're not letting a guy get a layup.
Well, there's such a fine line there, Stephen, when you're talking playoff basketball, which is more aggressive. If you start letting that go, it can lead to more serious infractions.
Well, and I think that's the spirit of the rule. That's why they call it that way. But, I mean, the playoffs are the playoffs. You don't give up anything easy, and as a defender, you have to be able to somehow deny that player an easy layup without getting called for a flagrant.
I'm very much into the spirit of the rule.
The spirit of the flagrant in particular.
So Hamilton off the flagrant foul with 2 free throws, and Detroit will have possession.
It looked like he just inadvertently bumped him with that off arm, and he'll get another free throw, and Detroit will get the ball back.
Hamilton, one of the better foul shooters in the NBA, misses the second. Pistons now lead 13-12. We've played 5 minutes. It is game 2 of the best of 7. Game 3 in Orlando on Thursday. The scene will shift to games 3 and 4 Thursday, and then Saturday afternoon. Both games to be seen right here on TNT. Wallace backing his way off the tee. Here's Wallace. And handled by Nelson.
Not easy to shoot over either Battie or Dwight Howard. That's one of the reasons why Orlando has one of the best defenses in the league in terms of field goal percentage allowed.
Good job by Weber fronting Howard. Here's Battie with a catch and shoot. Rebound is swept by Howard. Stripped from behind by Billups. Hamilton going behind the back and score.
Well, Detroit is an opportunistic running team. They don't run a lot. They're not the Phoenix Suns or the Warriors by any means, but when they make steals and get out in transition, they score. Billups and Hamilton both very proficient in that little mid-range game in transition.
Hill working on Hamilton. Rebounded by Wallace.
Something Flip Saunders predicted. He said, I think they're going to go to Grant Hill a little bit more against Rip. They've got a size advantage there. They've got to figure out a way to score.
Prince, tough angle shot, and he got the hop. Pistons 17, the Magic 12, and Brian Hill calls for time with just under 5.5 remaining in the first.
Oh, an explosion of points. As far as these two teams are concerned, 17-12 here early on, and in transition, Rip Hamilton gives a little shove to Grant Hill, creates some space, knocks down the jumper.
You know those stories you hear? A high school kid takes a job at McDonald's. They work hard, take advantage of opportunities. And years later, that kid who was working at one McDonald's now leads thousands. You believe those stories? I did.
What's up? I can use some help. Come on.
Who is that guy?
D-Wade!
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's hot out here, huh? My dream is to leave the world a better place than I found it.
Oh, yeah.
Good job, buddy.
That's awesome.
Yo! Hey, coach.
The new 2007 Lincoln Navigator. With enough room for, well, the basketball team. Life's going. Where to next?
1,900 hours of practice film.
Quick and he's fast, so don't take him lightly.
2,375 miles run.
Don't have to be fast. Just be perfect.
85 million pounds of weight.
Come on, pop it. Throw it up. That's it. That's strong.
13,260 hours on the trainer's table.
That's how you get ready for the playoffs. Thanks, sir.
One champion. The NBA playoffs.
Golden Globe winner Kira Sedgwick returns as the closer. An all-new season of Confession this June on TNT.
The 2007 NBA Playoffs on TNT. Brought to you by Lincoln. Reach higher. By Sprite with Lyman. Proud sponsor of the NBA. Obey. By the United States Marine Corps. The few, the proud, the Marines. And by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Back at the Palace of Auburn Hills, it is time for the Gatorade Around the Cooler report. Let's go to Stephanie Ready. Stephanie.
Thanks, Marv. Well, with this being Dwight Howard's first playoff series, he's gotten a lot of words of encouragement from bettors all around the league, telling him mostly to just relax and play basketball. But the most important advice came from the most dominant big man of the game today, Shaquille O'Neal. Dwight Howard told me that Shaq said, when you get the ball, just go to work. Shaq said it seemed Howard was waiting for the double team. And Steve, with Howard's woes at the free throw line, Shaq's advice to attack quickly may be the best yet.
Well, the interesting thing to watch here, Stephanie, as we see Detroit come up with a turnover, will Howard's woes at the free throw line affect his play? Hamilton with a little jumper. But that's the big thing. I mean, Howard cannot get shy around the hoop as a result of missing free throws. If he does, Orlando has no chance. He has to continue to attack the rim. Even if he's missing free throws, he's got to continue to play hard down there and draw fouls.
Turkoglu ends the 9-0 run for Detroit. Just under 5 minutes remaining in this opening quarter. It's the Pistons 19 and the Magic 14. Detroit went 53-29 in the regular season to finish as the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference. Good finish. They won 7 of the last 10. Here comes Turkoglu. Hill on the run, able to split through, but could not finish. And it's deflected out, last touch by Billups.
Well, what a beautiful move from Hill. Just couldn't complete the play. But it came off of a defensive zone possession by Orlando, something Brian Hill told us he was going to do. He thought that Detroit was just too comfortable in the first quarter the other night. He decided he had to change his defenses a little bit. That's the first time we've seen zone.
Well, the offense for the Magic has been Hedo Turkoglu. He's 4 of 4 from the field. The rest of the team just 2 of 11. Here's Turkoglu. He stepped out of bounds. That will not count. He backed up and stepped out.
Well, he was backing up as the pass came, so he never really had a chance to look down before he caught it. Just a little bit out of rhythm, and it's a shame. I mean, 4 for 4, you knew he was feeling it, and he knocked it down, but it's not going to count.
Arv Albert, Steve Kerr, Stephanie Ready. We are in Detroit, game 2 between the Pistons and the Magic. And the Pistons continue to hit the 3. Chauncey Billups making it 4 out of 4 for Detroit from beyond that three-point line.
And that may pull Orlando out of that zone. That's the second straight possession they played zone, and that's the problem. Billups, Hamilton, Prince, even Wallace are all able to knock down threes, and you're likely to give an open one up if you're in zone.
Dangerous pass thrown by Hill into a crowd, but the foul is called on the Pistons. First foul committed by Weber.
Well, the other defensive adjustment that we've seen Brian Hill make is he's got Jameer Nelson back on Chauncey Billups, which is the normal matchup. But in the regular season, Billups just killed Orlando. So in game one, Brian Hill decided he'd flip-flop, put Billups on Rip Hamilton, and put Grant Hill on Billups. Didn't work out. Hamilton went crazy early in game one, so they're back to playing the more traditional matchup.
Antonio McDyess has come on for Chris Webber. McDyess playing very well these last few weeks. Pass from Jennifer Nelson. Good hands by Prince, and last touch by Jameer Nelson.
Well, they're doing a little better job taking care of the ball. They were anyway, but 4 turnovers now, a couple coming in the last minute or so. And that's the tendency. We talked about it. 29th in the NBA in turnovers and 21 of them in the first game.
Wallace, yes. What a difficult shot. Taking it at the elbow without looking at the basket and hitting the turnaround.
Well, he's shown the total package. He's knocked down a couple threes as Nelson gets all the way to the hole, past Wallace. But Rashid showing everything. The post move there, and the guy is a very versatile performer.
8 points for Wallace, and an 8-point lead for the Pistons with 2.5 left in the first. Wallace coming to set the screen. The T able to jump out. Phillips, beautiful feed. Oh, what a play. Phillips off the screen with the setup for McDyess.
And as good a defender as Dwight Howard is, Marvin, he's still very raw. His positioning on that play, very poor. I mean, he's an excellent shot blocker, but he's still learning about angles and where he needs to be.
Rush shot by Howard, but Hill is there for the putback. Pistons have hit 10 of the first 15 from the field. They have 8 assists on the 10 buckets. McDyess is blocked. Nelson using the screen. Rebounded by Wallace.
Well, Brian Hill talked about the importance of getting off to a better start here tonight. Orlando, they look pretty good offensively. They're moving the ball. They're taking care of it a little better, but Detroit just having its way at the other end. Hamilton misses, but another wide open look.
Turkoglu's had the hot hand. Being played now by Phillips. Turkoglu, yes, he is 5 for 5 from the field. Hito shot the ball well the other day. Actually, Orlando, as we mentioned earlier, with a terrific shooting performance, 58% to set a playoff franchise record. Timeout called by the Pistons. The Detroit lead is down to 6.
Summer clothes. Just 8 weeks of summer fun.
The little 8 weeks party makeover from LA's Wave Launch Center.
Comcast high-speed internet is fast no matter where you are. But with DSL, the farther you are from the hub or central office,
the slower your connection.
Right. So I brought our computer way out to the backyard.
Is it getting slower?
No, it's no slower than usual.
Go left. Push it.
You come push it. You push it real good.
Connect fast from anywhere with Comcast high-speed internet. It's Comcasting.
Now it's time for Hurts around the league. A little catch up from last night, as I'm sure you're well aware. How about number 1 seed Dallas losing game 1 to the 8th seed Golden State Warriors? Had great success against the Mavericks during the regular season. Don Nelson's Golden State Warriors with a little schoolyard style, which paid off against the Mavs. And San Antonio losing the opener at home to the combination of Carmelo Anthony and Allen Iverson. 6th seed Denver coming up with a victory. Earlier in the day, the Brazilian blur, Leandro Barbosa of the Phoenix Suns, taking the 6th man award.
Good timing for him. He was really the key in that Phoenix victory yesterday as Prince breaks free for the dunk. And I think maybe, talk about Dallas and San Antonio, maybe a little opening night jitters. Marvin, playoffs are so different. You know, you spend the entire regular season playing games as Turkoglu continues his hot streak. You know, the games kind of pile on top of each other. There doesn't appear to be a whole lot of pressure. Then all of a sudden, you get right into the playoffs and everything changes. Guys tend to tense up a little bit on that first night.
Number 15, foul on Turkoglu. Hedo Turkoglu, one of the few members of the Orlando Magic who has had much playoff experience, primarily in his days with the Sacramento Kings. Spent 3 years with Sacramento, a year with San Antonio. That did not work out well, and this is third year with the Magic.
And that playoff experience is showing. I mean, he's the one guy out there who looks aggressive and comfortable.
And the one-time Piston, Darko Milicic, has come on for the first time. Milicic, despite the sprained ankle, 27 minutes the other night in game one, 5 of 6 from the field. He had 14 points. We are final seconds of the first quarter. Jameer Nelson works it down. Nelson gets inside, and Wallace got a piece of it. Shot clock violation. So now they let it play out, and that is the end of the first quarter. So the Pistons, 11 of 19 for the field. They had 9 assists on their 11th field goal. They lead the Magic 28-22. You're watching the NBA playoffs on TNT.
Tyler Perry has made millions laugh with his hit movies. This June, he's bringing his unique characters to television. Meet Curtis. He's got words of wisdom.
You ain't gonna be scared of no girl. Now drop your shoulder. Get your pit walk on.
He's got words of encouragement.
Clean that up.
He's got, well, lots of words.
And I'm rubbing you glue. Whatever you say bounce off me, stick back on you.
Don't miss the all-new comedy series House of Pain, Wednesdays at 9, premiering June 6th on TBS.
The passage is intense, but if you complete the journey, you will find your destiny among the world's greatest warriors. The few, the proud, the Marines.
How could you?
What?
This stain on your shirt.
Honey, I swear, that's just lipstick from my secretary.
Oh, please. You've been dipping.
No, I swear, I have been seeing Jessica.
Oh, you're lying. It's dipping sauce.
No!
Admit it, you love Jack's new sampler trio. Stuffed jalapenos, mozzarella cheese sticks, new spicy chicken bites, and oh, so good dipping sauces.
Who is this?
This is Jessica.
Like I said, we live in a society where the individual ego and the group dynamic are in constant struggle.
Response?
Yeah, I have a response. What?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Nobody said this was going to be easy.
Now see, if Geico.com had taken that approach, instead of telling everyone it's so easy a caveman can do it, I wouldn't be having an existential meltdown right now.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
When you search for a car at Autotrader.com, we send more cars your way than anyone. A lot more cars. So you can narrow it down by model, the color, even the price. And when you search from the largest selection,
That's the one.
you get the car you want at the price you want. Autotrader.com, the ultimate automotive marketplace.
The GSXR is the most dominant superbike in recent AMA history.
Here we are at Virginia International Raceway. We've got 2 average riders. We've given them brand new GSXR 1000 2007 models. We're going to do our best to teach them everything we can about all the benefits of the new GSXR 1000.
I can't believe it's seeing it on a production bike right off the showroom floor.
You can really feel the power get on nice and smooth out of the S's. As the GSXR series come prepared, this bike's are as ready for the racetrack as anything out there. There's nothing that can touch it.
Welcome back to Detroit, where the Pistons are off to a blazing start here, shooting 58% in that first quarter, and it was Rasheed Wallace that really got them off on the right track early. We saw a couple of quick threes in the opening possession. There was one. How about That turnaround move, we know he's very good down on the block. And then defensively, Rasheed starting on Dwight Howard tonight. The blocked shot there. How about the assist? One of 9 assists for the Pistons in that opening quarter. And Marv, 0 turnovers. Practically the perfect quarter offensively for Detroit.
Pistons leading the NBA during the regular season. Fewest turnovers committed, about 12 a game. They were second in assist to turnover ratio. Phoenix in the #1 slot. You look at Flip Saunders, the head coach of the Detroit Pistons. Flip in his second season as the head coach after 9+ years with the Minnesota Timberwolves. They win 64 games last year, 64-18 for Detroit, a franchise record. Shot clock running down, and Quincy never hit the runner to get the second quarter underway. Thinking back to last year, Pistons 36-5 halfway through the year. They had a shot at the Bulls' NBA record of 72 wins. We were talking about this earlier with Flip, despite the fact that the Pistons had their ups and downs this year as they won 53. Here's Trevor Ariza, who just came on, kept alive by Howard. They will slip it inside. Milicic was stripped, and the ball is chased down by McDyess. There was so much pressure on the Pistons last season, and they were gunning for that Chicago Bulls record. They may actually be better off this season winning, and I say with quotes only, 53.
Well, they're in a much better frame of mind as the Pistons end up with that offensive board and another opportunity here. But they've come into these playoffs, Mark, so much more relaxed. And they played that way all season long. They weren't in a rush to win a certain number of games. They were comfortable in who they were. And once they picked up Weber, then everything changed for them.
Dice with the rebound and foul. Combination of Ariza and the one-time Piston Arroyo getting the hand in on McDyess. And the foul is called on Arroyo. Now the Magic looking to talk it over. Minute and a half gone by in the second. Detroit with an 8-point lead.
It is not just the strength to learn, but the strength to teach. Not just the strength to follow, but the strength to lead. It is not just the strength to wake up your life, but the strength to live out your dreams. There's Strong, and then there's Army Strong. To learn more about the Army's 150 different career opportunities, visit goarmy.com/strong.
We took the Land Rover LR3 and compared it to the Hyundai Santa Fe. The Santa Fe beat the Land Rover in the 0 to 60 test and in the quarter-mile test. It also beat the Land Rover on the dry slalom and the wet slalom course, as well as in dry and wet accident avoidance tests. But the Land Rover did beat the Santa Fe in number of cup holders. Well, you can't win everything. The Hyundai Santa Fe, $13,000 less than the Land Rover, and a few less cup holders. Hyundai, smart move.
I used to think it didn't matter what deodorant I chose. Dumb. This test shows that Old Spice is the right choice. Take the Old Spice challenge. I did.
From the guys who made Shaun of the Dead comes the best reviewed comedy of the year. It's outrageous, hilarious, and unmissable. It's a blast.
Get us back to the station, now!
Hot Fuzz, rated R, now playing.
Take me out to Esurance. Take me to Savings Online. Auto insurance that's hassle-free. When you buy it, instantly let me quote. Buy with that Esurance. If you don't take it to shame, for it's $100, $200, $300 you can save with the Esurance name.
Save time and money on your auto insurance at Esurance.
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside.
It was a perfect strike, and you know it. Of course, if this chump were watching in DirecTV HD, he'd have made the right call. It's broadcast in 1080i, which means it's cool. Now, let's see how this bruise looks in HD.
Vaughn into his motion and the pitch. Uh-oh.
For the most sports in HD, you gotta get DirecTV.
push it tonight. Can you play him? Ham, you need a timeout? You need a timeout? I ain't doing no purpose. Got stay down, man. Can't get around the neck and the head area. Okay. Get flagrant, man.
Well, I mean, I don't think if we don't start like that, then we're going to get jammed up later on.
Exactly.
Well, that's what we talked about early on. There's Eddie Rush, who you just heard there. The flagrant, they're more likely to call it early to set the tempo. And you heard Eddie Rush telling Jameer Nelson, you can't go up around the head and neck area. And that's where the rule has really changed in the last few years.
And as the officiating crew agreed, got to set the tone early before things get out of hand. 10-point Piston lead. This is Carlos Arroyo, one-time member of Detroit. He and Keon Dooling now in the backcourt. Another former Piston, Darko Milicic, up front with Dwight Howard and Trevor Ariza. Here's Howard, nice move, and a good pass inside from Dooling.
Nice job by Dooling of getting the ball inside against that Detroit zone. That's about the 4th or 5th possession where we saw the Pistons go with that zone, and that's what you have to do. You can't just settle for jump shots. You've got to get the ball inside and attack the rim.
Second field goal for Howard. He has 4. Prince battles his way, and off the spin, he is fouled. Milicic came over to help. Foul committed by Ariza. Well, TNT will have playoff doubleheaders through Thursday, but also on the TV schedule Friday on ESPN2. It'll be game 3 between the Raptors and the Nets, coverage starting 7 o'clock Eastern time. Also Friday on ESPN, game 3 of the Bulls and the Heat, followed by game 3 of the Mavericks and the Warriors starting at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Sunday on ABC, game 4, Bulls and Heat, followed by game 4 between the Suns and the Lakers starting at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time. We're early in the second quarter. Dooling on the hop to Ariza, not able to handle it.
Great cut by Ariza. That's exactly what he was supposed to do. Just tough to handle a pass like that. A bounce pass thrown from midair. But Dooling was basically in a position where he had no other choice.
Trevor Ariza in his 3rd season out of UCLA, originally a second-round draft pick of the Knicks. Flip Murray coming on for the first time, has not been playing much as of late. Antonio McDyess. Pistons lead 35-24.
Detroit really is a jump shooting team, Marv, but they're capable at so many positions of posting up, whether it's McDyess, we just saw Prince a moment ago, Billups, Hamilton even can take the ball down on the block. A lot of very skilled players in the starting lineup.
Shot clock down to 6. Arroyo, yes. Carlos Arroyo, very popular player in Orlando. In his 6th season, he played his college ball at Florida International. He's bounced from Toronto to Denver, Utah, Detroit. Now Orlando, star with the Puerto Rican national team. Hamilton trying to adjust that shot, rebounded by Milicic. Looking for help. He's close to an 8-second violation. How to take it across by himself.
That 8 seconds goes quick.
Just did get over the midcourt line. Howard off the spin. Played well by Weber. Nice break. Delfino just came on, missed, but Weber is there.
And that's what Detroit will do. If they force a turnover or a long rebound, they'll run on you, and they're very efficient as a running club. Not a lot, but they'll get out and they'll score when they have their opportunities.
And the call away from the ball, offensive foul.
I think it was on Howard. That's a frustration foul. Howard just 2 for 7, 4 points. Then he leans in on that screen.
Howard's first. Let's check in with Stephanie.
Thanks, Marvin. Antonio McDyess is in the game, and already he's been hot. Well, I talked to him, and he told me that when the rumors were swirling about possibly Chris Webber coming here to Detroit, he began to look over his shoulder. You all remember there was a lot of trade talk. They thought they may have to get rid of one of their bigs. He had a talk with Pistons president of basketball operations, Joe Dumars, who assured him he had nothing to worry about. He would stay here in Detroit. He told me now he plays relaxed, he's himself, he has confidence. Since that talk, guys, he's averaging almost 13 points and 8 rebounds when he plays at least 20 minutes.
And he's really picked it up in recent weeks. Antonio McDyess, the guy's come back from four knee surgeries, 3 on the left and 1 on the right.
And he's traditionally a very slow starter, and I think that has something to do with the knees the last few years. And it takes him a little while to find his conditioning. Arroyo with the shot clock running down, can't get it to go.
Magic able to get back. This is Carlos Delfino, comes off a strong performance in game 1. Murray is rejected. Webber keeping it alive, and a foul is called, non-shooting foul.
Foul number 1, Trevor. Ariza, second.
Foul on Ariza, his second. Just under 7 minutes to go in this first half, and the Pistons lead by 11. Now Grant Hill getting set. Check back in. This year marks the first time that Grant has played through the closing part of any season with the Magic. When Orlando made the playoffs back in 2001, 2, and 3, Grant was watching from the sideline.
Had to revamp his game because of the injuries. He's become a much better jump shooter. And Phillips will miss the 3. Hill shot 51% this year, shot better than 50 a year ago. He hired a shooting coach to work with him a few years ago after the injury, and it's really helped him, but he's had to really adapt his game.
Turkoglu just checked back in and comes off the bench and hits again. He is on fire, 7 for 7. Actually hit an 8th long jumper from the corner, but it was waved off because he stepped out of bounds.
Oh, he was big the other night. Remember, he hit a couple of late shots from the perimeter that helped bring his team within 3, and the Magic's still hanging around.
Here's Delfino for 3, rebounded by Milicic. Darko goes 7 feet, 275 pounds. Arroyo saw the opening. Try to go glass. Howard is there. It will not count. Whistle before the shot.
I think it's going to go against Howard on a push, Marv, I believe.
Yeah, that's the call.
And that's number 2 on Howard. Very slow start for him. The only guy keeping Orlando in this ballgame, Hedo Turkoglu, on fire. 7 for 7, but it's going to be a climb for the Magic.
Welcome to subliminal advertising. Don't worry, it will only affect your brain.
Started his career as a member of the Detroit Pistons, leading Detroit into the playoffs 4 times. And as we mentioned earlier, traded to the Magic back in August of 2000. The deal involving Ben Wallace and Chucky Atkins.
Played in that regrettable era of teal uniforms for the Pistons with the big horse on the cover. That was a mistake, fashion mistake.
He took it personally as Delfino was fouled. Foul committed by Turkoglu.
Yeah, that was kind of the NBA's version. Remember in the 70s, all the baseball teams had like the tight polyester pants, and the Astros had those colorful. The NBA went through a little era there. Toronto had like the big purple dinosaur, looked like Barney on the front of their jersey. That was just an unfortunate time.
I thought it was a nice look.
Well, you're in the minority. I'm glad the Pistons went back to the old school. These are the uniforms that they won championships with.
Took a shot at Barney.
He deserved one. He has no place in the NBA.
Carlos Delfino back from a sprained right ankle off the bench the other night. Hit 4 of 6, 1-3. He had 9 points. A bright spot for the Pistons in the second quarter. That's last touched by Detroit. How about the quote from Darko Milicic today? Not exactly mincing words when he said, you know, the Pistons traded me back in February of 2006, and then he says the 2.5 years he spent in Detroit were the most miserable of his life.
Obviously, he's had a pretty good life then. I mean, it wasn't all bad. Probably made $8 or $10 million, won a championship. But I think that quote is a direct result of just the pressure that he felt while he was here, a member of that celebrated 2003 draft class. And he's the one guy amongst those top 6 or 7 that just didn't turn into a star. And he felt a lot of heat, and I think the best thing that ever happened to him was getting out of Detroit.
Foul committed by Flip Murray, putting Grant Hill at the line. But we're talking about a life that is, what, 21 years old?
There aren't a lot of years to choose from, so it's all relative, I guess.
Still Dumars, man who drafted Darko Milicic and then traded him. Joe, the president of basketball operations, Hall of Famer. Guy's done a terrific job here as an executive with the Pistons.
And Dumars avoided taking a whole lot of heat for that pick because the team won the championship the next year. But you think of some of the guys that the Pistons passed up. Wallace can't get the 3 to go. He passed up on Carmelo and Bosch, Dwayne Wade, Kirk Heinrich.
Arroyo knocks it down, so the Magic within 5 points. Just under 5 remaining in this first half.
Well, we saw this the other night. I mean, you get the sense, we saw a picture of the Detroit bench a few minutes ago. They're all laughing and smiling. The only, I think, threat for them in this series is if they get overconfident. And when they do, they go through lulls and then they let the Magic get back into the ballgame.
As Delfino made his move, a 3-second violation is called.
Hito Turkoglu tonight has single-handedly kept his team in the game. You see the 3 off the Grant Hill pass. Love to go left on that dribble, and then from the other corner, the long 3. And then against that Detroit zone defense, knocks down another one. So 7 for 7 for Turkoglu. He's the reason Orlando is within 5.
You know, the first Turkish-born player in NBA history, played 4 years in Turkey. But T is foul. Nice entry pass thrown by Hill. So the Magic, in the midst of a run, they've outscored the Pistons in this spurt 7-1. Foul is called on Weber, and they can cut further into that Detroit lead right here.
I think the key for Orlando, and not only in this series, but as they go forward as a franchise, they have to develop an identity. They're already a good defensive club, but they have to figure out what kind of defensive team they're going to be. Are they going to be the Spurs? Are they going to be a kind of a methodical team that just kind of beats you down? Or are they going to be a more up-tempo defensive team that will rely on that man's shot blocking to put them into the fast break situation, an open court style? They're so young, though, that they're still figuring it out. I mean, you look at some of these ages, Howard, Milicic, Ariza, all 21. Nelson, the point guard, 25. He's the old man of the group. But as the next couple of years develop, we'll see what kind of personality they take on.
Magic had hit their first 5 free throws, so that's their first miss. Phillips scored 3, and the Pistons have it off. Hill with the step on Delfino. Strong move by Grant Hill to bring Orlando within 2.
And that's the kind of thing that Orlando is capable of doing even without Howard on the floor. Because Milicic, a pretty good shot blocker in his own right. You know, if they can defend, get long rebounds, and get out in transition, they can score. And this is the Grant Hill of old here.
It's a 10-1 Orlando run. Detroit no field goals the last 4 minutes. Grant Hill with a vintage move. Who the inside the NBA crew thinks will be this year's playoff dark horses?
Yes, I do.
That was a naturally asked question, wasn't it? Just came to me.
Flowed.
Yes. Log on to NBA.com for TNT Overtime, the video broadband channel that's on all the time, exclusively at NBA.com. Came right from the top of my head.
Were you asking me or the audience?
It was rhetorical.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll let you answer next time then.
Chris Webber grew up here in Detroit, rooting for the Pistons bad boy championship teams of the late 80s and early 90s. Says he looks at this as his last chance to win a title, although he feels retirement is still several years away.
And interesting, he took number 84, which not exactly the renowned historic number in NBA circles, but apparently his his nephew as Hill gets the jumper to go, and he'll have a free throw coming. Apparently Weber's nephew said he had a dream, and in the dream Weber was making a shot, the Pistons were winning, and he was wearing number 84. Of course, why not?
Foul here on Tayshaun Prince, and Grant Hill can tie the game. Took number 84 because his customary number 4 is retired. The Hall of Famer Joe Dumars. And so he went with the suggestion from his nephew Colton.
Out of bounds still, Detroit.
Pistons maintain possession with 1:12 remaining in this first half. Detroit led by as many as 11. They have been off the mark here in the second quarter. Phillips passed on a 3. Hamilton kept alive by Prince. And the tip by Weber.
There's been a lot of talk about the offensive rebounding of the Magic, but Detroit was actually a better second chance point team in the season than the Magic were. I mean, this is a team with guys with long arms. They get around the hoop. Weber, Prince, Wallace, all very capable of offensive boards.
And a terrific play by Weber, getting the tie-up on Arroyo.
Now they're going to trap this screen and roll. This is something they did very effectively in game 1. Weber holding his ground, Arroyo calling for the timeout, but he's not going to get it.
Carlos Delfino will come on for Tayshaun Prince. Chris Webber has never played in the NBA Finals. He's been in the conference finals once, back in 2002, when his Kings of Sacramento lost in Game 7 in overtime to the Lakers. Arroyo from straight away. The funnel missed by Hill, but again a foul against Detroit.
How about Grant Hill? He has been spectacular here the last 5 minutes. After Turkoglu's run kind of got the team back in it, Hill really got aggressive and started taking control. Here's the offensive board, the putback. And again, you see he doesn't have the lift he once had, but such a smart player, a guy who knows exactly where he needs to be at all times.
Foul on Delfino. And Hill struggling at the line. 5 of 8 at the line, and Grant a 77% free throw shooter. The Magic were down 37-26, down by 11 when Hill and Turkoglu came back in. It's now a 3-point margin, down to 2. Turkoglu is back on the bench after picking up a 3rd foul, but the Magic have come back in the second quarter.
This run has really happened with Dwight Howard on the bench. He has 2 fouls, but Brian Hill figures he's got it going right now with this lineup. Why not stay with him?
7-second differential between a game clock and shot clock. And a defensive 3-second violation is called.
Tony Batiste not happy with the call by Greg Willard. He's trying to plead his case, but he was absolutely in the lane trying to help out on that weak side.
Phillips able to convert the technical, so the Pistons now lead 45-42. And a timeout taken with 16 seconds left in the first half. We'll be right back.
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside.
It was a perfect strike, and you know it. Of course, if this chump were watching in DirecTV HD, he'd have made the right call. It's broadcast in 1080i, which means it's cool. Now, let's see how this bruise looks in HD.
Vaughn into his motion and the pitch. Uh-oh.
For the most sports in HD, you gotta get DirecTV.
You can see the 2-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. It'll be Piston ball as we resume with 16.4 remaining in the first half. Pistons up by 3 in this game 2 of this best of 7. Game 1 Saturday night here in Detroit. Pistons won it 100-92. Orlando made the late run. Came within 3 after trailing by as many as 16. Shot clock to 5. Phillips. And he's fouled by Arroyo. Thought he had all ball.
I think Greg Willard may have anticipated that call because it looked like Billups was going to draw contact after Arroyo bit on the fake. But it looked to me like he got that ball clean and really avoided the body of Chauncey Billups.
Billups, 2 of 3 at the line. We're down to 4.7 remaining in the first half.
Let's take a look. Chauncey's going to try to draw contact, but Arroyo avoids him, and then, that is absolutely all ball.
Just Keon Dooling for Trevor Ariza.
Get another shooter on the floor for Brian Hill for this final play.
Two-time All-Star Chauncey Billups in his 10th NBA season out of Colorado. It's on both. 5-point lead. The Magic have to hurry. Arroyo splits through, and a foul is called with the Pistons over the limit. Not a good foul with just 1.2 remaining of a half. So Arroyo will go to the line.
It's an excellent play by Arroyo to be aggressive, knowing that you've got only a few seconds left. So even if you turn the ball over, it's not going to hurt you. So you might as well attack the rim, try to pick up a foul.
Orlando now 7 of 11 at the line. And for the Magic, that's like being on fire. Arroyo, an 80% free throw shooter. Only 17 minutes on the floor for Dwight Howard. Wallace looking for the baseball pass. Fires one. McDyess handles, gets it away. An 18-10 run by Orlando to conclude this first half. Pistons shot just 5 for 20 in the second quarter. They led by as many as 11. It is now a 3-point Detroit lead at the half. 15 points for Hedo Turkoglu. 7 for 7 from the field. Grant Hill with 12. 10 apiece for Rasheed Wallace and Tayshaun Prince. Let's go to Stephanie with Tayshaun Prince.
Thanks, Marv. Tayshaun, you've spoken out before about your teammates coming together, keeping your focus. How would you assess your focus in this first half?
We did a horrible job in the second quarter. We got Dwight to get 2 fouls, and we didn't do a good job responding at all. We knew Grant Hill and Turkoglu was going to be their main offensive threats, and we didn't do a good job of stopping them. And obviously, me being one of the top defenders, I got to be able to do a better job as well.
Well, how do you fix that error in the second half?
We just got to put more pressure on the ball. Obviously, with Dwight in the game, we're doing a lot of rotating and things like that, but we just got to know where Turkoglu and the shooters are, and we got to come out strong in the second half.
All right, thanks for stopping.
Thank you.
All right, now let's go to Atlanta, to our TNT studios with Ernie and the guys.
Guys. Hey, and the fellas. Thank you very much, Stephanie.
Have a name, Stephanie.
T-Mobile.
Stephanie's not going to last long about calling us our name.
Well,
Welcome back to the Palace of Auburn Hills as we head to the second half. The Pistons have led by as many as 11, 3-point lead at the half. Marv Albert along with Steve Kerr, and you look back at the second quarter for Detroit, you can see how things turned around. Only 2 field goals within the last 8 minutes, and from the field in the second, 5 for 20 by the Pistons.
Well, we heard Ernie and Charles and Kenny talk about it. They lost their edge. I mean, they don't have a lot of respect for Orlando. They feel they can beat them anytime they want, but when that happens, you lose the appropriate fear, as Greg Popovich likes to call it, the edge that you need in the NBA. And as a result, Orlando goes on a big run behind Grant Hill, Hedo Turkoglu. You look what happened the last 8 minutes of the quarter. 18-10 scoring run. Most importantly for the Magic, 0 turnovers. And I thought Hill was really the key guy.
Let's take a look at tonight's Jeep game summary. The shooting percentages. Orlando at 16 of 39. I should say Detroit 16 for 39, 41%. And Detroit at this And I'm reading my stat sheet incorrectly.
Well,
Orlando at 46%, 17 of 37. The numbers just confuse me. And Detroit 16 of 39, 41%. Detroit hit their first 4 from downtown and then missed the next 6. And the Pistons are having the difficulties at the foul line.
Well, and they're only up 3, despite the fact that Dwight Howard was 2 for 7, 4 points, basically a non-factor in the first half. And I think it'll be key for Howard early on in this third quarter to establish himself, go to the hole, get fouled. Don't worry if you're missing your free throws, but you've got to get back into the ballgame, or I should say into the ballgame, and become a presence right away.
All right, for more on the Magic, let's go to Stephanie Reddy.
Thanks a lot. I talked to head coach Brian Hill and asked him what he thought they should do differently. He said, actually, I liked our defense in the second quarter. If we can see more of that in the second half, he would be happy with that. But he also mentioned that they will try and change up their defenses a little bit more in this second half, and of course, looking to exploit the matchup with Turkoglu.
Well, it's Detroit ball as this third quarter gets underway, and they are back to their starting lineup. Phillips and Hamilton in the backcourt. Prince up front with Weber. And Wallace, that was deflected out, last touched by Howard. So the Pistons will have 12 on the 24. Detroit at 53-29 of the regular season. They finish as the #1 seed in the East, although they consider it an up and down season. In fact, Joe Dumars, as Prince knocks down a 3, he felt there was too much bickering with officials. There were home losses to weaker clubs, the Bobcats, Hawks, the Hornets. Rasheed Wallace did not play with his usual passion and shot a career low 42%. And the team did not shoot particularly well. They were 20th in the league and right around 45% from the field as Howard makes his move. A defensive 3-second violation is called. But the bench appears to be much stronger than what we saw last season.
No doubt, and one of the key guys was Carlos Delfino in Game 1, had 9 big points, but you know that's something that's Flip Saunders has made a point of this year, really developing his young guys. You see Jason Maxiel, he played a big role this year. But something Charles said in halftime was really, I think, right on, and that is this is not a great team. This is a very good team. It's an efficient team, but it's not a dominant one, and they don't blow people out. And you know, when they go through these little lapses, they're very vulnerable, and they have to be very careful here.
There's Turkoglu, and that's his first miss of the night. Hit his first 7 shots. But is it important to blow people out? I mean, this is a club that can win an NBA championship again. Tip is put home by Wallace.
Well, it's not important to blow people out. It is important to put people away early in the playoffs. I mean, last year, Detroit let Cleveland get them to 7 games, and I think it hurt them in the next round against Miami.
Turkoglu for 3. And the long rebound handled by Nelson, but a foul. It is on Detroit. The outside official, N.F. Rush, says stay right here. Wallace collecting his second.
You know, to win an NBA championship, it's a long drive. I mean, it's almost 2 months where you're just going, you know, every other day. So much pressure and the media glare, the fans. And there's a lot of stress involved. And if you can avoid as many games as possible, then you're in pretty good shape. I think Weber's going to pick up a foul here down on the block on Howard.
It's 3 on Weber.
You look at the success that Detroit has had since 2004, the best in the NBA, 42 wins, and that's a case of 2 things: consistency. This has been a very good team, and a very weak Eastern Conference. You know, we've got an Orlando team here that's below 500 in the 8th spot, and Detroit has made the most of this run here the last few years, and the most of this weak Eastern Conference.
Antonio McDyess has come on for Chris Weber, who just picked up a 3rd. Howard gets good position, went to the drop step, and he is fouled.
Well, that is 3 quick fouls now for Detroit in the first minute and a half. And if Howard can continue his aggressiveness, then Orlando's going to be in the penalty here for the entire third quarter. They can go to the line. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing offensively, but it's always great defensively. I mean, even when you miss free throws, you're set up defensively. You're not going to give up any easy hoops at the other end.
That foul on McDyess. Here's the team. Rebounded by Prince. Pistons up by 8. Hamilton cuts into the lane. That shot way off and handled by Batiste.
Nice job by Turkoglu challenging that shot. That's usually an attempt that Hamilton makes with ease.
Here's Nelson. Talked about the postseason last year. Pistons won the first round, beat the Bucks in 5, beat the Cavs in that tough 7-game series that you made mention of, and then lost to Miami in 6 in the Eastern Conference Finals. Shot clock to 4. Prince working very hard. And here comes Hill. Pistons get back. And as Hill makes his move, that's team foul number 4 committed by the Pistons. And the foul on Hamilton, his second.
Now we could potentially see a lot of free throws here for Orlando, and that's critical. I talked about it a little bit. The ability to get to the line, slow the game down, and set up defensively. And that's why some of the best defensive teams are the ones who spend a lot of time at the free throw line. Miami the last couple of years with Shaq, they're able to set that defense up, and it just makes the game a whole lot easier at that end.
Howard played by Wallace. Nice play. Howard getting it to Hill.
And you could see Wallace a little shy after all these fouls that the Pistons have picked up. He backs off a little bit there.
Detroit up by 6. Trying to make it 2-0 in this best of 7. Magic hoping to take it back to Orlando. Tied at 1 apiece. Wallace, quick release. 14 points for Rasheed.
That zone is not working well for Orlando. Detroit just picking it apart. They're such a great passing team and a good shooting team, so tough to really defend well with the zone against them.
Nelson attempting the three-pointer. And last touch by Detroit. Some hesitation as Ed Rush along the baseline checked with the outside official, Greg Willard, and it's ruled off the Pistons.
Flip Saunders is not happy. The 4 quick fouls, now the out-of-bounds call. Nothing's going his team's way so far.
The team under pressure from Hamilton. Detroit with a 54-48 lead.
Now, this might be the best thing that can happen to Detroit. If they get upset with the officials, then maybe they'll start playing with an edge again.
Nice play inside. McDyess is fouled. And he'll go to the line, hit by Batiste.
Once again, the interior passing against that Orlando zone is just beautiful. And Rasheed is so effective there because he can shoot and he can also see over the top of the defense. You see him there finding McDyess.
McDyess only a 69% free throw shooter. You look at the Pistons breakdown during the regular season, and it is most unusual. At home, they are 26-15. On the road, they have a better record, 27-14. That's the best road record in the East. But they're the only team in the NBA with a better road record than home record.
And you wonder if that's not a sign of what we've seen here tonight. You know, you get on your home floor, you tend to relax a little bit. Or you go on the road, you're more at risk of losing. You got to be more focused. You got to have more of an edge. Maybe that's it.
Here's Phillips. He's looking left and right. He wheeled it to Prince. Yes. Tayshaun Prince with the open shot from the wing, and that leads to an Orlando timeout.
Yeah, the Pistons have a reason to be overconfident. They're a lot better than Orlando, and you see it. And then as soon as they put their mind to it, a couple of easy jumpers against the zone, a nice transition hoop here, and the lead's right back to 10.
Yeah, going to Phoenix.
There's an exciting sound in travel. Southwest Airlines Ding. Get exclusive low fares sent directly to your desktop. Deals that are only available for a limited time and only by downloading Ding at southwest.com.
Introducing the all-new Jeep Patriot. Available trail-rated with 172 horsepower and 30 miles per gallon. Starting at $14,985. Choose your adventure at patriotadventure.com.
Boy, the 80s were the good old days. Man, I looked skinny back then, too.
Chuck, do I really have to watch this just to get in your 5?
If you want to get in my 5, that's the least you can do. That's impressive.
Now, that was impressive. The way you squeezed into those tight little shorts.
Who's in your fave 5?
Sexy.
My fave's from T-Mobile. Unlimited calls to any 5 people, any number, even landline.
Introducing the all-new Jeep Patriot with fold-flat seats, flip-down liftgate speakers, and MP3 connectivity. Starting at $14,985. Choose your adventure at patriotadventure.com.
The reason why I like taking my girls to the games is you learn a lot through the game of basketball, respecting the game and knowing how important teamwork is.
You're seeing the ultimate teamwork now.
It's just a great atmosphere.
How much fun is this?
And it's just not about basketball, it's about everyday life. It encourages them to continue to push for their dreams.
And Detroit wins its Sunday championship.
And who knows, maybe one day I'll be coming to watch them play. Ain't that right?
Yeah.
The 2007 NBA Playoffs on TNT. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines, official airline of the NBA, and by Jeep. Legendary capability, only in a Jeep 4x4.
This June, meet Curtis. Get ready for Tyler Perry's House of Pain, coming this June to TBS.
I never liked you. All right, Steve, time for the House of Pain Family Fact. A new feature during the course of the playoffs. Chauncey Billups, who was born and raised in Denver, is first cousins with Lendale White, running back for the Tennessee Titans last year as a rookie, backup running back. And that is just fascinating information provided by our staff. The House of Pain starts June 6th. On TBS.
I was going to use that for Steve Wonders.
10-point lead for the Pistons. 7 on the shot clock, deflected out by Prince.
I think one of the key guys here, a little falling asleep action by the Pistons.
Wait a second. Can they be falling asleep action?
Just go with it. Just go with it. Hill breaks free, they fall asleep, and then the action leads to the dunk. How's that?
McDyce go with the rebound.
About the same. I think Jameer Nelson's a key guy, and he needs to get going. I like the aggressiveness there, but still unable to get something to go. 1 of 7 here. He's just 4 of 10 in game 1. This is a tough matchup for him. The very big guards the Pistons have with Billups and Hamilton, and so far Nelson unable to get his game going.
And Jameer listed at 6 foot. That's a generous listing.
I'm 6'8" then.
Yes. Here's Hamilton. Tip missed by McDyce. And back comes Nelson in his 3rd year out of St. Joe's in Philadelphia. Made huge strides last season after Steve Francis was traded to the Knicks. Wallace got a piece of it. Here's Nelson with the setup, the team. And the Magic having difficulty finding the range. Nelson again goes baseline and draws the foul, a blocking foul, says Greg Willard. Pistons are over the foul limit. Wallace with number 3.
Well, this scoring drought shouldn't come as a surprise. Orlando 27th in the NBA in scoring. You see the blocking foul there called on Wallace. They average 95 points a game, and they have spells where they go through long droughts, and we're seeing one right now.
Nelson is one of the better foul shooters on the Magic. 83% from the line during the regular season. Orlando 10 of 15 tonight, which for the Magic is not bad.
And they're in the penalty now the remainder of the 3rd quarter, so they've got to take advantage of that.
A shot only 70% at the free throw stripe during the regular season. That was 28th overall in the league. Just under 6 to play in the third quarter. The shot clock to 5. Phillips, yes.
Mr. Big Shot. Anytime Detroit needs a big one, I mean, he's likely to take it. And Orlando makes a little bit of a run. Phillips loves to come off that high screen and roll, and you've got a lot to worry about out there if you're Orlando, and so you can't cover everybody.
Nelson gets it back to Hill. And Dice with the rebound. Phillips, a guy usually heats up in the second half. The crowd wants Rasheed to shoot. He does. Rebounded by Howard.
He liked the matchup with Turkoglu, but he lost the handle on the ball, never got into his rhythm.
Nelson for 3. Petit with the save, but he stepped out.
Nelson's frustrated here, just cannot get anything to go. He had another shot in the first half that went in and out, and Orlando needs him. He's one of their top scorers. He's going to have to find his groove at some point here tonight if they're going to win.
The Magic only 3 of 13 from the field in the third quarter. Marv Albert, Steve Kerr, Stephanie Reddy working the sideline. Just under 5 minutes to play in the third. Wallace from downtown. Peters hit 3 from beyond the arc. A lot of dribbling here by Jameer Nelson. The call against,
I think it was a 3-second call on Howard. He picked up 3 of those in game 1, Marvin. You know, he worked so hard to establish position down in the block, but that's something that happens frequently to him. That's a young player's mistake.
Dwight Howard just 2 of 7 from the field. Has not gone to the line. Does have 8 rebounds, but has been very quiet. Hamilton. And it is a blocking foul. A foul on the Magic.
Looked like Eddie Rush was about to step in and call a charge, but Tim Donahue overruled him. And I believe we're going to get a couple of free throws here for Hamilton. Let's see, the help arrives, and you really can't see from that angle whether the feet were on that arc or not.
Foul on Hill, that is his first. Hamilton just 2 of 11 from the field, 2 of 4 at the line, which is very unusual for Rip Hamilton.
I think, you know, Hedo Turkoglu has done a pretty nice job when he's been on him here tonight. The Magic have a lot of length that they can throw at Hamilton with Grant Hill and Turkoglu, and you need that because he's a guy who gets into the creases and likes to elevate over people, but if you can challenge his shot, you got an excellent chance of making him miss occasionally.
Detroit back to a 10-point lead. Magic having difficulty locating shots in this third quarter. Turkoglu off the fake. Yes.
Nice work from Turkoglu. Prince coming out. The Pistons in that zone defense again. And Turkoglu just showing the ball, bringing himself up for a wide open look.
17 for Turkoglu. Here's Prince right back from downtown.
Now, Brian Hill talked a lot about the importance of changing his defenses here tonight, going to some zone and trying to mix and match, take Detroit out of its rhythm. The zone really has not been effective, though. Too many open looks for the Pistons.
18 points for Tayshaun Prince. He's their high scorer. Nelson for 3. He hesitated, rebounded by Hamilton. Phillips able to finish. Brian Hill wants to talk it over. Biggest lead of the night for the Pistons.
That's a fantastic pass in transition from Hamilton. Marvin looked like he was going to go to Tayshaun Prince on the left side, and he made a little ball fake to take Jameer Nelson across the lane just enough to give Phillips a free lane on the right, and Hamilton delivered it perfectly.
And And then got this crowd going. See Hamilton starting the break.
And a little ball fake that just took Nelson across the lane and then finding Billups perfectly. That's the textbook 3-on-2 break. And Detroit starting to pull away.
They've outscored the Magic here in the third, 20-10. They lead by 13. Well, the scene will shift to Orlando for game 3 on Thursday night. 8 o'clock start right here on TNT. Game 4 Saturday afternoon, also on TNT. And that will start 3 o'clock Eastern time. If there's a game 5, it'll be back here in Detroit Tuesday, May 1st. Hill draws the foul. Try to hit on the reverse, but he will go to the line and shoot 2. Foul is called on McDyess, and now Flip Saunders takes a timeout with just under 3 remaining in this third quarter. Beautiful 68-degree night here in the Motor City. Why are you looking at me like that?
Beautiful, 68. No way.
He is going to work.
Okay, this means war.
Wait to see the look on their faces. It's so easy. I know. They're taking candy from the babies.
Introducing the all-new Patriot, starting at $14,985. Choose your adventure at patriotadventure.com.
At the World Beer Cup, over 2,000 beers are judged from 540 breweries in 56 countries. And in 2006, one of those beers won gold for Best American Style Light Lager for the 4th time. In fact, Miller Lite's won more awards at the World Beer Cup than any other light beer. For award-winning taste, there's no debate. Miller Lite, good call.
On the road, in the dirt, or in the air. Pro Caliber has you covered with a full line of Suzuki bikes and Suzuki ATVs. Having fun is serious business. Don't settle for less. Pro Caliber Motorsports. We sell fun.
Comcast now offers home phone service. This is not internet phone. It's a new, reliable choice in home phone service built from the ground up. With digital voice quality, 12 calling features, voicemail, plus unlimited nationwide long distance. All included for one low monthly price. You can even keep your current phone number when you switch. Call 1-800-COMCAST today and pick up Comcast Digital Voice for as low as $39.95 a month. So are you gonna get it?
Marv, is it time for Steve Wonders?
Thank you, Grant. Yes, it is. This is a special unsponsored edition of Steve Wonders. Not that that has any effect at all on this enormously popular segment.
I bring it every night. I'm not swayed by money and sponsorships and stuff like that. Here's what I got for you tonight, Marvin. The Pistons are trying to get to their 5th consecutive Eastern Conference Finals. They're the #1 seed. They're favored to do so. So my question is, since 1997, or 1977, excuse me, what is the most consecutive times a team has made the conference finals?
Very timely.
Well, that's why I thought it that way. I try to put these things together with a little symmetry. The Lakers 8 times. Magic Johnson, obviously, a part of that incredible run. And I'd say the Pistons are a pretty good bet to do it this year again. You know, they're on the easier side of the bracket. Or excuse me, I shouldn't say that. They're on the tougher side of the bracket, but they are the #1 seed, looking at potentially Miami or Chicago in the second round.
1977, the year of the NBA-ABA merger. When you were just a child, Steve?
I still watched.
Pistons with a 67-56 lead. 2.5 to play in the third. Here's McDyess off the pump. Orlando trying to put together a run here in the final minutes of the third quarter. They have shot poorly here in the third. Pass intended for Milicic, who just checked in, and Ariza hustled him out. Crowd wanted to travel. Ariza to the rim and is fouled by Prince. And this crowd unhappy that a traveling violation was not called on Ariza.
I think they were right, too. And then Orlando got another bonus. That errant pass actually hit the rim, restarted the shot clock, and Ariza ends up at the line. I think a player with a lot of potential, originally drafted by the Knicks, 43rd out of UCLA, just one season there, and really very unpolished offensively. That's the big challenge for Ariza. Can he develop an outside shot in an offensive game? If he can, he could be their starting small forward for a long time to come.
62% free throw shooter, and misses on both. Orlando now 13 of 20 at the line. Phillips annoyed by the defensive pressure shown by Arroyo, and Arroyo called for the block. Non-shooting foul for the Magic. It is number 4.
Well, these two players played against each other an awful lot in practice here in Detroit several years ago, and you're not going to win a strength contest at the point guard position with Phillips. He just overpowered Arroyo there.
McDyess. Good job by Turgler to tip it over to Hill, leaving Hamilton behind. They're going 5-on-4 here. Turgler was open for 3. Yes.
They found the right guy. That's 9 for 11 now for Hedo Turkoglu. 20 points. And the Magic trying to make another little run here.
That's his second three-pointer. Hedo doing it at both ends. Phillips. Oh, beautiful touch off glass.
Once again, the run starts. You feel the crowd's getting maybe a little bit edgy, and who takes the big shot? Chauncey.
10-point Detroit lead. 13 points for Phillips. Turkoglu. And the rebound snatched by Wallace. Good hands by Ariza. But Detroit will put it in play. Now substitutions, Chris Webber and Carlos Delfino checking back in. Delfino out of Argentina. Comes off a strong performance in game 1 here on Saturday night. Santa Fe, Argentina, member of Argentina's national team. And has been getting much more playing time this season.
Enormously talented. A guy who can shoot the ball from the perimeter. He's big, he's active, he's long, he can put it on the floor, he can dunk the ball. He's a pretty nice looking player.
Brian Hill cannot be happy about that drive. As Hamilton was able to split right through it, there was no resistance.
Yeah, those are the ones that kill you. I mean, you know, if they're going to run Hamilton off screens, off curls, and he's going to get one on a jumper, that's one thing, but nobody can stop him in the lane.
Deflected out by McDyess. 20 seconds to play in the third quarter. And the Pistons lead by 12 as they try to make it 2-0 in this best of 7. Game 3 in Orlando on Thursday night. Magic trying to even up the series at 1 apiece. Turkoglu working the clock down. Final seconds of the third. Turkoglu, Milicic. Final seconds. Here's Phillips. Pulls it up and is rejected by Hill. Hill had the length and he made the block. And the kind of block that players love. You not only reject, but you take the ball away. 3 quarters complete. It's the Pistons 71, the Magic 59.
The legend was born in 1965 in the storied swamp of Florida, where the scorching heat took a brutal toll on the Gators.
The players weren't adequately hydrated and their performance suffered.
The answer, a new carbohydrate electrolyte beverage created by University of Florida doctors.
Naturally, we called our stuff Gatorade.
From the Gators' Orange Bowl triumph in '67 to their national title in '07, and for millions of athletes in between, the legend continues.
If you're ever in an interview and are asked if you've had leadership experience, try not to smile. There's strong, and then there's Army Strong. Find out more at goarmy.com/strong.
Coming to DVD, meet America's newest secret agent. Woo! Lucy Liu and Cedric the Entertainer make a solid comedy team.
Okay, that's skills.
Codenamed The Cleaner. On the DVD April 24th.
Introducing the all-new Jeep Patriot. Available trail-rated with 172 horsepower and 30 miles per gallon. Starting at $14,985. Choose your adventure at patriotadventure.com.
Man, that's an ugly sweater.
All right, Chuck, leave me alone. I'm trying to make this putt.
If you make this putt, I'll put you in my 5.
Are you serious?
Dead serious. I'm sorry, were you busy?
Who's in your fave 5? My fave's from T-Mobile. Unlimited calls to any 5 people, any number, even landline.
From the guys who made Shaun of the Dead comes the best reviewed comedy of the year. It's outrageous, hilarious, and unmissable. It's a blast.
Get us back to the station, now!
Hot Fuzz. Rated R. Now play.
Special Agent, they're trying to stop you from saving time and money on auto insurance. Here's the play.
Quote by print. Got it, Coach.
When there's only seconds on the clock, Esurance gives you a fast break.
From all the hassle of buying auto insurance, you don't have to jump through hoops.
At Esurance, instant comparison quotes let you screen prices yourself.
So you can net yourself some savings.
It's a slam dunk. Save time and money on auto insurance. Visit Esurance.com today.
Introducing the all-new Jeep Patriot with traction control, electronic stability program, and ABS brakes. Starting at $14,985. Choose your adventure at patriotadventure.com.
Let's take a look at the Western Conference brackets and the second of our playoff doubleheader tonight. Game 2, it'll be Utah and Houston. The Rockets taking game 1. Dick Stockton and the Czar, Mike Fratello, will be at the mic. The buzz started early when it was rumored that the Czar would again be working for TNT during this year's playoffs. And when the former Grizzlies head coach made it official during his press conference earlier this month, well, it was pure mayhem. And Mike will be calling game 2 of the Jazz and the Rockets coming up next on TNT. As always, quite a showing for the Czar announcement.
And one of those guys was his brother, I think. So, oh, man.
Fourth quarter is underway. It's the Pistons 71 and the Magic 59. Foul is called a trip. Picked up by Weber as he became entangled with Milicic. Weber with his 4th.
Interesting, we don't see Dwight Howard on the floor. He's only got 2 fouls, but he's been virtually invisible here tonight. No trips to the free throw line, just 2 for 7. And it looks like Brian Hill's just going to try to stick with Milicic, see if he can get something going.
Here is Milicic. Got the step.
And that's his first hoop tonight. You hear the crowd boo. He's just 1 of 4, 2 points. Had the big game 1, 14 points, very active, showed his potential, and it was a nice moment for him to come back to Detroit and play well.
Darko, the 2nd overall pick in the 2003 draft by Detroit. As we talked about earlier, following Carmelo Anthony and LeBron James. Carlos Arroyo able to knock it down. Darko following LeBron and then taken ahead of Carmelo and Chris Bosh.
Dwayne Wade and Kirk Heinrich, and you wonder why these fans are booing. They're booing him because he's not as good as all those other guys.
Weber had it slapped away.
2 seconds on the shot clock.
More on Darko. Let's go to Stephanie.
Well, Marv, I talked to him earlier today, and he told me that the reason why the boos really don't bother him here is because when he was at home in Serbia, as a 16 and 17-year-old, he was getting thrown baseball bats. As Chauncey Billups knocks down the jump shot.
Yeah, you talk to some of the players who have been involved in competition overseas, and they say, you know, when you come to the NBA and the crowd is aggressive, it's nothing compared to what happened at some of the championship tournaments.
So they usually say points. You know?
Yeah, baseball bats.
Baseball bats, I haven't heard that.
I think Darko made it up. Baseball bats? Here's
they
Weber.
play baseball over here.
Yes! And the foul! A hard driving move by Weber, and he will go to the line. The foul called on Milicic.
Now Detroit starting to execute again here in the second half. Well, I remember they didn't really do much in that second quarter. They lost their focus, but they have yet to turn the ball over in the second half. That's 14 minutes of play without a turnover, and they're starting to get some easier opportunities like that in transition for Weber.
10.7 rebounds for Chris Weber, who has had a major impact on this Detroit Pistons ball club. Ariza, and shot. Kept alive by Arroyo. Here's Turkoglu. Delfino recover. McDyess with the rebound. And the Pistons have picked it up here in the fourth quarter. Hamilton knocks it down. Arroyo was trying to draw the foul. You can see the difference in the passion, the fact that they have come out pumped up here in the early moments of the fourth, and they have extended to a 15-point lead. Timeout, Orlando.
I used to think it didn't matter what deodorant I chose. Dumb. This test shows that Old Spice is the right choice. Take the Old Spice challenge. I did.
The only way to undo a disaster...
You cannot change the past.
Yes, one theory. ...is to follow deja vu and go back to the past.
You don't have to do this.
Because I already have. Deja vu. Only tomorrow on DVD and Blu-ray disc.
When you think of it, children have always been able to put a smile on your face. Why not do something to put a smile on theirs? Please join McDonald's in supporting Ronald McDonald House Charities as we make the lives a little brighter for over 10,000 children and their families every day of the year.
What does it take to earn AMCI's best-in-class certification for combined acceleration and braking? Capability. Lease an all-new Tundra for $299 a month for 36 months and $27.24 due at signing with trade-in. The truck that's changing it all. Now at your Toyota dealer.
In the battle against dry, rough, cracked feet, are you losing? Fight back with Gold Bond Foot Cream. Its penetrating formula helps heal dry feet like ordinary lotions can't. For victory over rough, cracked skin, Gold Bond Foot Cream. Victory over defeat.
Consider this, a 3-act mouthwash. Act 1 kills germs for fresh breath. Act 2 restores minerals to prevent tooth decay. Act 3 strengthens tooth enamel up to 2 times harder. It's the one with fluoride. Act Restoring Mouthwash. 3 acts, 1 bottle.
The NBA on TNT continues. Coming up next, Game 2 between the Jazz and the Rockets in their first-round playoff series. Houston taking Game 1, led by Yao Ming and Tracy McGrady. Yao with 28-13. Tracy had a sparkling second half. So that's coming up next. And then on Inside the NBA, Ernie Charles, Kenny and Magic will have highlights from tonight's games, and then a look ahead to Game 2 between the Heat and Bulls and the Lakers and Suns.
You know, speaking of the West, I can't help but think of Dallas. You know, they must be watching this game thinking, why didn't we get an 8th seed like this? I mean, Golden State playing so well at the end of the year. You know, the Western Conference just so much more difficult. Every matchup is really going to be competitive.
Dueling way off, looking for the foul call. The Pistons have scored the last 7 points. They've opened up a 15-point bowl. Lindsey Hunter back on the floor. Hunter and Hamilton in the backcourt. Here's Weber with Dwight Howard back in. Hunter shoots the 3. Rebounded by Milicic. And Brian Hill with a bigger front line. Here's Dooling. It counts in the foul. What a shot by Keon Dooling, who was sent reeling. He was tripped up by Hamilton, and Dooling will head to the line.
Well, he did a fantastic job of running the floor. I mean, he just took off as soon as the possession was changed. And what a beautiful finish. He takes the little shove, the body control, very athletic player.
3-point play for Dooling. The Piston lead is now 12 with just under 9 minutes remaining in the fourth. Dwight Howard, sitting for a long time, has made his return. Delfino kept it alive. Hamilton able to run it down. Hamilton and Hunter at the guard. Weber, McDyess, Delfino on the front line. Delfino, looks like Pergolo got a piece of it. Kept alive by Weber. The shot clock is still running. It's down to 6. That ball did not hit the rim, and a popping violation is called on Hunter.
Looked like Delfino made that baseline shot a lot more difficult than it had to be. He did a little scissor kick. I don't know if he was trying to draw a foul, but looked like he had an opening, and that really caused that bad possession.
Steve, that only the 4th turnover of the night committed by the Pistons. They hold the NBA playoff record fewest turnovers in a game. The number 4. They did it twice in Boston and San Antonio. Dooling is feeling it. So they're right there with 4 turnovers. And the lead is now 10.
And the crowd is kind of a little antsy. They're saying, we've seen this movie before. Game 1, it's a similar situation. Orlando cut it to 3 late after it looked like they were out of the game completely.
Weber too strong on that reverse. Saturday night in Game 1, Pistons led by as many as 16. Orlando came back, although you never had the feeling that they were going to pull it out.
Nor do you tonight, but you know they're trying to make it interesting. And Milicic, with his second hoop in the lead, down to 8.
Well, Flip Saunders may have that feeling because he's taking a timeout.
Coaches get that feeling a lot more often than broadcasters.
7 unanswered by the Magic. And the Piston lead cut to 8.
Tired of being nickeled and dimed by other airlines?
Is this your first flight?
On Southwest Airlines, our leather seats, blankets, pillows, snacks, and smiles are always free.
You are now free to move about the country.
separate yourself from the herd. The innovative Ridgeline from Honda.
Boy, the 80s, what a good old days. Man, I looked skinny back then, too.
Chuck, do I really have to watch this just to get in your 5?
If you want to get in my 5, that's the least you can do. That's impressive.
Now, that was impressive. The way you squeezed into those tight little shorts.
Who's in your fave 5?
Sexy.
My fave's from T-Mobile. Unlimited calls to any 5 people, any number, even landline.
The limeade at Sonic is so unique. It's kind of like the corn dog of beverages. Just because it's unique. It's like the Coney of fountain drinks. What does conies and corn dogs have anything to do with limeade? I'm explaining an analogy to you. You know what that is, an analogy?
Yeah,
okay.
It's before digital.
Wait.
Cranberry limeade. Sonic's got it, others don't. Only at Sonic can you get a refreshing cranberry, cherry, strawberry, or classic limeade, because Sonic is your ultimate drink stop.
The 2007 NBA Playoffs on TNT. Brought to you by Honda, the company that defines performance in motorcycles, ATVs, personal watercraft, and scooters. By Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Gatorade, is it in you? By Sonic, it's not just good, it's Sonic good. And by Hire, official partner of the NBA.
We are back at the Palace of Auburn Hills, and there's former Piston Darko Milicic out of Serbia, played well for Serbia in the World Championships, and getting an opportunity as a member of the Magic.
Well, the big thing with Darko, you have to remember he's 21 years old, and when he came over here as that second pick in the draft, he hadn't really played a lot for his professional team in Europe, so this is really his first game experience in the last couple of years. Since he's been in Orlando, so there's still a lot of growth to be done. You can't deny his skills. I mean, that's why Joe Dumars selected him in the first place. 7 feet tall, he runs like a deer, he's got a nice touch around the hoop, but he's got to find his confidence, his niche, and at least he's getting his shot here with the Magic.
Hamilton, off-balance shot, pleading for a call. Looking to go to the line for the possible three-point play. 10-point Detroit lead that stops the 7-0 run. Here Nelson, Keon Dooling at the guard, Grant Hill, Dwight Howard, Darko Milicic up front. Nice pass for Howard, but Hill was surrounded. Shot clock to 5. Here's Nelson, he's been way off, and finally hits a shot.
That's a tough shot to hit, too. When you're 1 for 9, you've got all that time to think about it. But Nelson, good to see him knock one down, maybe get his rhythm going here in the fourth quarter.
Three-pointer for Nelson, 7-point Piston lead as we come up on 6 minutes to play in the fourth. Phillips with a long three. Yes, he is Mr. Big Shot. Talking about Chauncey with Flip Saunders, he said he'd like to see him more aggressive early on in the first half, but he seems to look to get everybody else involved, distributes the ball, and then takes over down the stretch.
Like a good point guard should, and that's amazing that we're saying that, because early in his career, he bounced around from team to team because he was not really a point guard, as Milicic gets a little lefty hook to go. And I agree, Marv. Phillips likes to get his teammates involved early and then likes to take over late.
Milicic, 6 points, 5 rebounds. The Detroit lead is 8, and a tripping foul. Milicic not able to get out of the way. That is his second, and he hears it from the crowd. In the category of mysterious occurrences, Steve, yesterday here in Detroit was not a good day for the Magic, as at their hotel, apparently about 6:30 a.m. as Hamilton draws the foul. It's on Dooling. The fire alarm went off at their hotel in suburban Michigan. No fire was found. The team eventually allowed back into the hotel. The Magic sharing the hotel with the Chicago White Sox, who are here to play the Tigers. And Talk to the players, they say it might have been a Tigers fan or a Pistons fan looking to give the out-of-town rivals an early morning wake-up call, which was not appreciated.
No, I imagine not. You know, we had that situation in the finals in '97 when Chicago against Utah. The Jazz came to town, and a local disc jockey actually called the rooms of John Stockton and Karl Malone at about 6 in the morning, woke them up, and for some reason they didn't have aliases. Well, we were ready when we went back to Salt Lake City. Everybody had an alias. We thought, no way, we're not getting woken up. Morning of Game 3, 5:30 in the morning, there's a marching band outside of our hotel.
Terrible. And once again, a foul. It is on Prince. That is his fourth. So Grant Hill back to the line. 3 team fouls apiece. Well, TNT will have playoff doubleheaders through Thursday. But also on the schedule tomorrow on NBA TV, it'll be Game 2 of the Nets and Raptors starting at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Friday, ESPN2, Raptors and Nets playing Game 3 with coverage starting at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. The Nets winning the opener of that series in Toronto on Saturday. Friday on ESPN, Game 3 of the Bulls and Heat, followed by Game 3 of the Mavs and the Warriors. And then Sunday on ABC, Game 4 between the Bulls and Heat, followed by Game 4 in the Suns-Lakers series. Here's Phillips. And on the back tap, it's kept alive by Prince. Gave a look to Phillips.
Well, Detroit's done a nice job on the boards here tonight, Marv. They actually have a 40-38 advantage, and that was one of Flip Saunders' major concerns after they gave up so many offensive rebounds to Orlando in Game 1. So just staying even with the Magic is enough for Detroit.
9-point Piston lead with 4 minutes 20 seconds to play in the fourth quarter. As an addendum to that fire alarm story, they did evacuate the hotel, although some members of the Magic Party did not buy it and stayed in their room. As Dwight Howard contested on that shot, and it's partially deflected. Dwight Howard has been overwhelmed here tonight by the Pistons.
You know, that's exactly the word, Marv. He's been overwhelmed. Detroit sending a lot of different defenders at him. They're swarming guards around him, coming down to help from the perimeter, and he just can't find any comfort level down on the block.
That's an offensive foul. That time Phillips tried to force the issue of the ball back to the Magic.
You know, Mark, talking about Howard, though, I mean, you've got to chalk this up to experience. He's 21 years old. This is his first playoff experience this series, and he's playing against an excellent defensive team. But what he has to realize is that, you know, he cannot lose his aggressiveness. His team depends on him to be active and energetic, and he was taken out of this game early. And again, you wonder, you know, was it the free throw woes from Game 1? Is that playing on his mind? Is that making him this tentative?
3 of 11 at the line. Saturday night, he missed his first 7. He's had problems all season at the line at 58%.
It's one of the things I always admired Tim Duncan about when I played with him in San Antonio. Even despite his free throw problems, he's never shied away from getting the ball late in the game to the hole.
How about Hedo Turkoglu? A tremendous shooting performance. He's 10 of 14. He has 22 points. And the Piston lead is down to 7 with 3:10 left in the fourth. Shot clock to 6. See Hill digging in on Hamilton. Down to 2, down to 1, and Wallace one hands and score! A 3 on a fling by Rasheed Wallace.
Wow. Just destroying the best defensive possession Orlando has had all night.
Nelson turns it over. Pistons back on it. That could be the wrapper.
Well, the Magic, they were so active on that possession, chasing every screen, chasing every cutter. I mean, they were incredible, and then it's all down the tubes with Wallace's heave.
Traveling violation is called. The shot clock running down. The ball ends up in the hands of Wallace. The only thing he could do was fire it up, and he had no choice. It's a one-hander that goes glass.
Great to see you guys.
At Haier, we're thrilled to bring you the latest technology
The kitchen is fabulous.
with the most innovative and stylish appliances
This is amazing.
Don't forget, switch it back to freezer.
that make every room in your home come to life,
It's incredibly quiet with 2 temperature zones.
especially the ones where you'll find leading-edge products like our LCDs and plasmas in full high def.
Whoa, 1080p. Awesome.
Haier, official marketing partner of the NBA.
Everywhere I go, there's something like other place and time.
Cartoon Network invites you to hear what the stars have to say about Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Blue says, "These guys are great!" Mr. Harriman raves,
"They are bothersome, mindless, annoying, and a considerable nuisance."
Eduardo proclaims,
"I liked them before they were cool."
and when it comes to word of mouth, listen to the character that says it best. It's Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends on Cartoon Network.
If the governor knew the right thing to do, he'd put jobs in the hands of Oregonians. If you're going to make a rational decision, you have to look at logic, you have to look at numbers, you have to look at the law. In fact, Oregon's Constitution guarantees that. You don't back down from principles like that.
You don't have to see it his way, but you've got to see it. Have a look into the world of Lars Larson. Weekdays from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on CNW 14.
This summer,
We had a little problem. I can see that.
watch a risk taker become a miracle worker.
Just so weak.
We'll transplant her successfully.
Heartland, a new series right after the season premiere of The Closer, this June on TNT.
All right, Steve, it's time now for the U.S. Army strong performance of the game.
Well, as is his habit, Chauncey Billups really coming up big here in the second half. You see the assist in transition, the high screen jumper, a finish off the beautiful feed from Hamilton, another long jump shot. Billups now with 11 second half points. Remember the other night in game 1, he had 2 points at halftime, finished with 22. So Billups doing exactly what we've talked about, Marv, getting his teammates going early and then taking over in the second half.
Log on to TNT Overtime on NBA.com to see more U.S. Army strong performances. Orlando has cut it down to 7 twice here in the fourth quarter. The first time Billups followed up with a three-pointer. Here's Milicic putting it down. And the second time they trimmed it to 7. Rasheed Wallace hit that clean 3, banking it home.
Reminiscent of that 70-foot heave he made against Denver during the regular season that tied the game. That was a miraculous play off a steal. Looked like the game was over. Pistons ended up winning it in overtime.
Wallace's shot contested. Hill got a piece of it. Rebounded by Howard. With a minute 35 left. Orlando in possession, down by 8. Here's Nelson. Nice move. Really crossover going right at Wallace. It's a 6-point game. Same script that we saw Saturday night in game 1.
Yeah, and if the script follows, then Hamilton or Billups will end up with the ball here.
Well, this time it's Wallace. The rebound is back tap. Look out. And the foul is called as McDyess hit the floor hard.
Foul of Dwight Howard is third.
Foul is on Howard. That's 3 on Howard.
Well, let's take a look if we can see what happened. Wallace misses the jumper and then, yeah, the push. And it looks like McDyess takes a blow maybe to the hip area. Howard maybe showing a little frustration, a little late on the box out, and just tries to use that arm to create space.
Antonio McDyess giving the impression that he's all right. Now the Pistons can play the clock. He's come up on a minute to go in the fourth. Here's Phillips to the left hand. He scores. It counts, and the foul.
What a move by Billups. The body control, the strength. Where's Kenny Smith? Kenny Smith called Baron Davis the bodyguard. Here's another bodyguard right here. The strong body of Chauncey Billups, switching it over to his left hand, the finish. And once again, Billups with the big shot.
Foul committed by Nelson. Chauncey Billups has dominated here in the fourth quarter, which is nothing new. Just under a minute to play. The Pistons lead by 9.
The road of tomorrow is being created today. From tires that help make your car more fuel efficient and safer, to earth-friendly production and recycling methods, Michelin is striving to help you find a better way forward. Michelin, a better way forward.
Welcome back to the Palace. Detroit with a 9-point lead, and it's been another terrific night for all 5 starters from the Pistons. We talked about their balance, their ball movement, the fact that they can run their offense through any one of these guys. And look at the numbers tonight. 21 for Billups leading the way, 18 for Prince, Wallace 17. This is an extremely well-balanced starting unit.
Orlando in possession, looking for a quick shot. Hill delivers to Howard, and Dwight Howard will head to the line for the first time tonight. The foul on Rip Hamilton.
At the line to shoot 2 for Orlando.
Dwight Howard, as we've been discussing, just 3 of 11 at the line in game 1. Right at the bottom in terms of free throw shooting, he's at 58%, and that first shot looked very good.
Well, he's got decent form. I mean, this isn't like, you know, his teammate Bo Outlaw or Shaq, or, you know, maybe I shouldn't name names, but it's too late now. But
yes, it is.
Dwight Howard, when you look at his shot, it's a decent-looking stroke. He's a well-coordinated guy. He just, you know, if there's one thing that you look at, it's, you know, the extension isn't quite there. He kind of pulls up with that arm. He doesn't get that elbow fully extended, and I think that keeps him from getting a better touch on the ball.
Foul on Turkoglu. It's not like you're whispering secrets.
You think anybody's watching?
The stats speak for themselves with those guys.
But I'm talking about form, you know what I mean?
Oh, I see. Okay.
I just don't, you know, Bo Outlaw's not going to be a good foul shooter. Shaq's going to struggle. But Howard, I think, has potential. And there's Bo, one of the nicest guys. You know what? I'm sorry.
Oh,
Bo.
don't do that.
One of the nicest guys in the league,
right,
and I had to take a shot at him.
Right.
That's my fault. But Howard's got a decent-looking shot. I mean, with some confidence, with some practice, no reason why he shouldn't be, 70% at least.
Well, scrambled, and it is a timeout taken by Orlando. Jameer Nelson battling with Tayshaun Prince, but it will be Orlando ball, and we'll step away with 49 seconds to play.
Hot soup, $4. Cold medicine, $11. Blanket, $24. Making it all better. Priceless. With PayPass on your MasterCard, just tap and go.
Got an MLB mindset? You'll need it. The #1 baseball game is back. MLB 07, The Show. Rated E for everyone. Available on PlayStation 2 and PlayStation Portable.
Southwest Airlines game break. Ernie Johnson in Atlanta. Yao Ming, 28 points, 13 rebounds in Game 1 as the Rockets beat the Jazz 84-75. Game 2 about 10 minutes from now here on TNT. But right now, let's get back to the Palace. Marv.
All right, thank you, Ernie. Now, Steve, not that stats determine outcomes, but you look at this one and you say, well, it would seem unlikely, down 2-0 in best of 7, 11 times out of 348 series has a team come back and won the series, and this is what Orlando is facing, the very unlikely prospect that they could beat a club like Detroit, particularly when you're down 2-0.
And none of those 11 teams were an 8 seed going against a 1. So, I mean, they're not going to win this series. I think that's safe to say, barring disaster for Detroit. But for the Pistons, it's been another methodically efficient night. 22 assists, 6 turnovers. Every time they've been threatened, they've come back with an excellent offensive possession. And this is how they beat you.
Nice spin by Hill. Pistons 92, the Magic 85, 43 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter, and the foul. It's a hard foul, and Hamilton upset Turkoglu making contact. The push Hamilton.
Well, you've got 2 excellent foul shooters here in Billups and Hamilton. That's why you involve both of them in the play here. And Turkoglu, just a hard slap. Nothing major about that.
Easy for you to say.
I'm over here.
Right.
It's the playoffs, Marv. As Jim Mora would say, it's the playoffs.
Now, if you were Rip Hamilton, you would have given the same look.
I would have stared him down. And you know what? Hito would have been intimidated, too.
Hito Turkoglu has had an excellent game. 10 of 14, 22 points. He has matched his career playoff high. 17 for Hamilton. Game 3, Thursday night in the Magic Kingdom. We will be in Orlando Thursday night right here on TNT. Nelson tried to deliver it. He does to Milicic in a little casual hook shot, and a foul given by Turkoglu. That's number 6. So Hito fouled out, leaves with 22 points.
Yeah, he played a terrific game. Really single-handedly kept Orlando in it in the first half. 7 for 7 in that half. And if Orlando's going to win at least a game in this series, they're going to have everybody show up. I mean, you look at the numbers. Nelson 3 of 11, Petit 2 of 7, Howard 2 of 8. I mean, that's just not going to cut it. Their starting 5 has to collectively have big nights. They've got to put together an extra effort to beat this Detroit club.
Well, a good performance by the former Piston, Darko Milicic. 10 points, 5 rebounds, and Milicic hitting all 5 of his shot attempts in this fourth quarter.
And this is great experience for him, too. We talked about Dwight Howard getting his feet wet in the postseason. Milicic also just 21 years of age. So even if Orlando gets swept here, it's still just great experience for their ball club, just to taste what the playoffs and kind of feel what they're like.
Royal could not find the shot. Now scoops it off to Howard, got it to Nelson. Milicic. And here's Howard, yes, and the foul. So Howard will go to the line. It's now a 7-point Piston lead, but time has run out with just 10.5 to go. Howard at the line a moment ago, hit 1 of 2.
It'll be interesting to see what happens in Game 3. We heard Ernie Johnson talk at halftime about the Pistons. They haven't had a sweep, I believe, since 1990. Is that right? 17 years. This has been a team that we've seen it in both games 1 and 2. They've fallen asleep at times. You do that on the road, you're a little more susceptible.
Good pressure on the inbounds. It forces Tayshaun Prince to take a timeout. 22nd timeout with 10.5 seconds to go in the fourth.
Show your love for the NBA by wearing what the pros wear.
Oh, where did he come from?
You can personalize any team jersey with any name or number you want. So log on to NBAstore.com now and choose any player from any team.
You believe what you just saw.
It's the perfect way to show your style, on or off the court. NBAstore.com. We've got it all. One store, every team.
The Magic out of timeouts. Pistons have a full and a 20. Now look at the Western brackets coming up in the second of our playoff doubleheader here on TNT. It'll be the Jazz and the Rockets. Houston taking game one. What a terrific season for Jeff Van Gundy and the Rockets. His run of the second half to beat Utah the other night. Foul is given. Pistons spending much time at the line, the 9 of 10 at the line here in the fourth. Hill is called for the foul, stops the clock with 9.7 remaining, and once again Cliff Saunders wanted the ball in the hands of Rip Hamilton. He's an 86% free throw shooter.
On his backcourt mate, Chauncey Billups, is pretty much automatic from the line as well. And what an advantage that is down the stretch to have two guards who are capable, not only capable, but who are really wanting to go to the line and take the big free throws. And that's one of the reasons Detroit is excellent closing out games.
To number 24, Antonio McDyess.
Carlos Delfino for Antonio McDyess. Public address announcer here at the Palace. Mason loves to stir the crowd up, gets it going as McDyess departs. 9 points, 11 rebounds for McDyess. Final seconds. Here's Arroyo for three. Rebounded by Prince, and that will do it. It's a 2-0 lead in the best of 7 for the Pistons. Game 3 in Orlando on Thursday night. We'll be there right here on TNT. So Chauncey Billups leads the way. Did it down the stretch. 21 points in all. Tayshaun Prince at 18. Rasheed Wallace 17. Rip Hamilton with 22. Hito Turkoglu leading the way for Orlando with 22. Thanks to our producer Scooter Bertino, our director Renardo Lowe, our statistician Brian Taylor. Coming up following a quick break, game 2 between the Jazz and the Rockets. For Stephanie Reddy, Steve Kerr, and our entire crew, I'm Marv Albert saying good night from Detroit.
NBA Cares. This season, NBA players including
Rock of Love with Bret Michaels. Next.
Holy.
Only on VH1.